Barack Obama, has the capacity to become a movement, and indeed it has a mandate of history to do so. What the people of the United States in a clear majority elected was not only an affirmation of our best hopes for the future, it is important to note that it also closed the door, momentarily, to a bid for power by a much darker spirit in the American experience. This magnificent moment is ours to preserve and extend, but it will not remain so without our concerted and sustained attention. The Democracy Charter is intended as a vehicle for helping provide the content and purpose that will define a new direction. The Democracy Charter seeks to inspire the activism that a new direction requires for its success. Indeed, it is in harmony with the founding document, which will be debated this weekend here in San Francisco, which states, and this paper says on page 12, but we rewrote it. You all got a copy of the charter. At this historic juncture, the fight to preserve and extend democracy is central to all demands and is the basis for advancing towards a socialist future. The Democracy Charter incorporates this vision and the possibility of its achievement. Indeed, this charter in its final structure will have the potential to serve as a cadre development instrument, so essential to sustaining nonviolent activism and multiplying its forms. The rich experiences of the 1960s decade of mass movement include the abolition of institutional racism in many areas of our national life and the Vietnam moratorium, whose 40th anniversary we will celebrate this year, in which 4 million people participated in October 1969. This landmark achievement stands as the equivalent of a general strike for peace and against continuing the war in Vietnam. While the Chicano moratorium a year later underscored and enlarged its message. These events came at the end of a decade of creative nonviolent protest actions on many fronts, in the course of which the violence of the state was repeatedly revealed. The legacies of the 60s decade of mass struggle include the opening of university and in some cases high school curricula to a wide range of academic studies which objectively support and nourishes the expansion of a culture of peace, democracy, and internationalism. This inevitably encourages a wider and deeper examination of our shared history with our neighbors in the world community. Notwithstanding the alarming state of affairs in our nation's public schools today, to which the Democracy Charter refers to in point 4, these achievements are an invaluable contribution to our movement's current work. One of our challenges is in finding the forms and activities which enable us to share these benefits with more and more people in our local communities and on an even wider scale. The fundamental premise of the draft of the Democracy Charter is that a new paradigm of democracy is in our country. A democracy more robust and substantive must be created by the people out of these past and present shared experiences. Therein lies the transformational possibilities of the historic moment in which we are engaged. The principle of bringing into operational existence a dual authority in our country, i.e. the existence of the authority of a dynamic resistance of grassroots character, on the one hand, confronting the authority of the institutional status quo, the labor movement during the Great Depression and the early 40s, the long civil rights movement, and the feminist movement of the latter decades of the 20th century. Each of these created that dynamic for a certain period. I believe that the principle of a dual authority in the country would well serve the strategic objectives of our force in building a progressive majority in the age of Obama. Towards the second Reconstruction, the present 13 points of the Democracy Charter with the abbreviated comments that accompany them are meant essentially as a framework for incorporating other vital issues concerned to such a charter. There is no order of priority, but an attempt to present a picture that will enable us to view these vital issues as a body in their interconnectedness rather than just separately. To further elaborate and project applicable remedies and the purpose for movement building as a sustaining force. The charter proposals are designed to acknowledge and enhance the effective work that is already being done in many areas of movement activity. When harnessed to the grassroots organizing tradition, the Democracy Charter can bring new energy that is transformational in its possibilities for social change in our nation. It must become a full part of the good news that involves and inspires our artists, poets, and creators in all cultural media to give of their talents, spreading this message of hope and new possibilities. The reality of our interdependence in the world with which each other extends to all species of life on our earthly planet. This is a summons to our imagination that the sisters and brothers in the environmental movement have been creatively acting upon. The struggle for a substantive democracy in our country, each step of the way, contributes to an in-depth understanding of this reality and our commitment to act upon that understanding. Because of its perspective of emphasis on our movements, goals, and objectives, the Charter is an invitation that seeks to engage in different kinds of national conversation. One that is positive and purposeful in the sharing of experiences and free of the tone that too often discourage participation. This is a great moment for all of us as we confidentially take up the challenge to create a vision, share with the people all around us, that embodies freedom from fear and expands the movement, community built by the people all around us. As they actively embrace the ideas of the Charter, they have created and proceed to translate these hopes into constructive actions. The common ingredients in all this liberating work are integrity and love. In the late 1950s, Dr. Martin Luther King, recovering from the first attempt on his life, was asked by a reporter, "What does our movement hope to achieve?" Dr. King's reply was, "We hope to achieve a nation of peace, at peace with its own conscience." Therein lies a continued challenge to our movement in this, our time of promise and possibility. Yes, we can.